If I earned, like $1 million a year, but I was in that tense family situation a few years ago, I wouldn't be happy.
You'd still be unhappy.
And it's just like, or I was shooting the biggest job of my life, I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
Because things are just tough. But if you can just look after yourself, give yourself a bit of time, I think that's true happiness. There were moments I would just sit on the pier, I need some sushi, and I was like, I'm happy. Random as that
Simple,
sounds,
yeah.
just take a moment out and just do something you love. Happiness is accepting and just looking after yourself.
Anthony, it is so good to finally sit down with you. And we've been talking about doing this interview for probably 5+ years since I've met you. So it's great to be able to sit down and talk to you.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We've spoken about it for many years. But, life gets busy, but we've always spoken about it. So it's good to finally sit down with you and do this. Episode 1. It's
exactly.
exciting.
Episode 1 of, I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but we're going to be interviewing a whole range of people from the entertainment world and connecting that to mental health. And what I love about doing all of these interviews, but especially with like close friends, is you get to actually have a conversation about, things that we wouldn't talk about in day-to-day conversation, because it's not often you sit down for an hour and have an in-depth, deep and meaningful conversation and talk about past experiences and all that sort of stuff. So, it's interesting. I get to learn more about, you and your story, and I love doing it. So anyway, glad that we can sit down and do it. I think, like, before we go into it all, I always ask the guest, can you just give us a bit of a background on yourself, your story, and essentially how you came to be doing, what you're now doing?
Sure. So, I started off, I've been in the industry for a long time. Since a young kid, always trying to entertain people, make people laugh, even, barely being able to walk. I would just try and be silly and make people laugh, which is strange for such a young kid almost. We just would always try and entertain people. My parents were like, this is a bit strange, walking down the street in a shopping center and there's a crowd of people gathering and then like, what's going on here? I go, hang on, where's my son? And then look over, it's like me, just like pretending to be Mr. Bean or walk like Madonna or something random. And people, they'd be like, this is quite unique. Quite unique. So not long after that, they were like, maybe we should put him in an acting agent and just see how it goes. And within about 6 months of even getting into one, I was already on TV with Blue Healers doing little guest roles, like 2.5, 3 years old.
Oh my God.
So that's been my job ever since. Since that day, I haven't never left the industry and I haven't really had any other work.
Wow.
So that was my job. So being in the industry since 3 years old, obviously makes you quite a unique person, I guess. Being raised on set almost, with all the little acting roles I did and appearances, missing a lot of school for that kind of stuff. I was reading scripts from a young age. I was, quite ahead of everyone else at reading. I guess just constantly growing my silliness, I guess, as well. No wonder I am how I am now. But that's how it all started, really. Just growing up on set, acting and all kinds of things. But I always had a love for back behind the camera as well. So even as like a 7 or 8 year old, instead of just coming onto set and then doing my little thing and then leaving, I'd always kind of go, "What are you doing?" To like the DOP. What's this for? He's like, "Well, this does that." Most kids wouldn't ask that or would just kind of go over their heads. But I'd always remember what I was told, or even looking at how the lighting was. How it was shot and lit, but always just remember it subconsciously, I guess. Always had a camera in my hand, so like Mum would take photos of me, happy snaps and like childhood memories, swimming by the pool or whatever. But I'd always grab the camera and then reverse it on them, which is I don't think it's too common for kids to grab their camera and go, "Now you, Mum and Dad, now you go have fun. I'll film you now." So they've got happy snaps and videos, but I shot them as a kid. Always loved the camera. And then, that built on through my career. And then probably since about 16, 17, I really wanted to get into filmmaking, but I wasn't sure how and what. So at first I was like, I could be an animator. Like I wanted to do the Shrek films. That'd be great to do animation but after deep diving, I realized it takes a lot of hours and I don't have the attention span to sit there and animate something for like a month. I was like, no, I can't do that. And I obviously loved photography and filming. So I thought I'd give it a go. And making a first short film since about 17. I actually did psychology in year 11 and I had to drop psychology in year 12 to do studio arts. So when I was at high school in like 2006, 2007, graduating, film wasn't even a subject. People didn't know really what filmmaking was at school at that level.
Right.
So after I did visual arts, studio arts at school, I had to study painting and art and drawing all year to then make a film. And then the year after, my high school then did filmmaking as a subject because I was like, this is silly. Why can't we make film? So after high school, then kind of went on and studied filmmaking, crewed on lots of things, and here we are really. And what's that? Now it's been 15 years since then. 15 years since high school.
Crazy how the time goes. Yeah.
Said that out loud. Now I'm scared.
Yeah.
But then since then, obviously, now I'm a cinematographer. Shooting music videos, short films, commercials. We've worked together on some things.
Yeah.
TV shows, documentary. And then maybe the last 2 or 3 years getting into a bit more producing as well. Especially since that short film Hatchback I did with Riley Sugars. Since that one, I really enjoyed producing that. So now I enjoy kind of, being able to choose locations, work on the script from start to finish, work on the project, not just jump on board and do it and then leave. So I like having that control. But that's kind of my story, really. So I'm a DP, cinematographer, started off through acting, and it's kind of like been my whole life, which is a strange thing. I didn't work anywhere else, which is a blessing and a curse, I guess, because obviously it's not easy kind of working as a kid. So, when you turn 15, 16, you want to get a job. I was working since 12-hour days on set. It's crazy, hey?
That's crazy.
So that's my story, essentially, to here we are.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, it's a crazy thing to, from such a young age, you've stayed in that same industry. So you sort of knew, I mean, you've changed, I guess, roles in what you do now from acting to DOP work and producing and everything else.
I still like acting, but it's I think it comes to a point where I had to choose.
You have to choose.
Do I keep doing acting, or do I really want to step in? And let's be honest, I was acting, but there's it's hard. When you're getting a job every 3 months, 4 months,
it's tough.
That's a great commercial, but then a TV show pops up, but how is that sustainable?
It's a tough.
And about 25, 26, I had to make the call. Like I know that I need to really push one or the other. But been in the industry my whole life. Yeah.
And I think that's probably really good advice as well for, anyone in the entertainment industry listening to this. It's making that choice. It doesn't mean you only have to do one thing forever, but making a distinct choice about what is my pathway to try and have success in this industry. And I think the producing part's really important. Like for me, it's acting, and I want to, starting to get more into producing. And I think having that control where you can really be overlooking and putting projects together combined with whatever the skill is that you're trying to develop can be a really important thing. But I mean, as we're going to talk about today, one of the biggest reasons there's so many mental health issues in this industry is the lack of certainty. We don't have control. You don't often know where the next paycheck's coming from. A lot of people can barely pay the rent because they don't, it messes with your mind. It's stressful, and it's really hard to maintain a career in doing that. Like a lot of people drop off because there's just not enough support. It's crazy.
It is very stressful. Most filmmakers, anyone who works in the industry, most are freelancers, subcontractors, or they've got their own little business. But in our industry, it's just very different. Like if I was to have a lawn mowing business, it's my own business. But you'd assume with the regular clients, it should be okay. But I think this industry is different because even regular clients can just drop off. And then you have nothing. So one day weeks. Sometimes the pay, sometimes once every 2 weeks. The beauty and what's helped me a lot is I set up a rental business as well. So, I might only be on set once a week, twice a week, once a month sometimes. I might only shoot something once a month sometimes. But I'm having a rental business kind of helped me stay afloat, I think.
I think that's super smart. Like, and I love it. That's one of the things that I always say to anyone in that industry, and what I've tried to, I guess I got into acting a bit later, and then I sort of learned how the industry works. And the big thing I realized was if I want to have longevity in this career, I've got to find a way to stay stable. So running my own business gives me that. And I think it's super smart how you've got the rental business because, people look from the outside and they look at what you're doing, and you've been actor nominated, you've made all these different films, you're traveling all the time. If they look at your social media, they'll see all these crazy
Glamorous.
things you're doing.
I'm always working, right?
You're always working, and it would look like if I looked at that as an outsider, I would be thinking this guy is never not working, he's never not traveling. You'd be envious, but like you're saying,
in reality, it's
behind the scene, like you might be filming stuff for 3 months of the year, but what we see from the outside it looks like you're doing stuff non-stop.
Yeah.
So people don't realize what's going on behind the scenes. And that
Exactly.
happens at almost every level. Like
Does.
even you hear these massive actors talking about it where even at that level, you never know for sure where the next job's coming from.
Yeah.
So I think it's a super important thing to
And it does
find
play on
that
mental
balance.
health, not knowing when your next paycheck's coming in.
Yeah.
Your bills come in and it's just always at the back of your mind. I don't think
Yeah.
that day goes by where I don't check something and be like, oh, that's right, I got that overdue. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, I should have paid that probably. But then you've got to cover that instead. And then it's like every day, that's a factor. I love my job. I love being creative. And even the rental business, which is all kind of online now, people can book and I'm helping people in the industry, which is great. It's an income for me, but I'm also being able to help people and help them get the equipment they need. So that's also what I love doing. But even with all that aside, it still is tricky. Not a day goes by that, I'm not worrying. What if I don't work next week? What if I don't get a job, for a little while and the rental business quietens down and then there's 2 weeks between the next shoot? That's like, well, what do I do now? Do I, it's stressful. Then you get in your own head, like, what if no work comes? Work always comes, but in that moment you tell yourself, like, what if I just don't shoot for a little longer? And what if it gets like you know what I mean? So it's,
massively.
And then once you start thinking that kind of stuff, then it gets worse,
It spirals. And I think, we were talking about this the other day and I never knew that from you, that you worry about that stuff. And it's the kind of thing I worry about all the time as well. And I guess we're talking here about, having your own business, doing these things. But even within that, there's obviously stress because you've got to be juggling. You've got to keep that, afloat. You're looking for the creative work. You're switching between business and creative mode. And I think it's just so important we talk about this stuff because it really gives you, we can feel like we're alone in that struggle. And often we'll be going through that, we'll be worrying about where the money's coming from. We're going through a stressful time, whatever it is, we're in our head, things are spiraling and we think other people have it all together. But the reality is everyone's actually got similar worries.
Everyone thinks the other person's doing fine when no one is really. No one's perfect. Everyone's got their own thing going on. Everyone's got their own battles, their own problems, whether it's work or personal. Doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside, it's never the same.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. 100%. So how do you manage that yourself? Like when you're with these ups and downs, how do you manage your mental health through that?
Well, I've changed a bit recently. So COVID was a big kind of like circuit breaker, I think. I didn't use my time well in COVID at all. I mean, I was able to buy an apartment, which is fantastic, somehow. Random story, I met my mortgage broker buying Lego. I was like,
of all ways to meet your mortgage broker.
What should I do during lockdown? I know, I'll build Lego. And then when I realized also I'm a bit of a hoarder, OCD. So when I built it, I had to store it somewhere. So the more I built Lego, the more I had to find it. So then I had like walls and walls of like random Lego.
Oh my God.
But then during COVID, it got very popular even with adults. So it was all sold out. And I really wanted certain items. So I looked on Facebook and found like a Lego kind of person was selling things, and we just bought a few things off him. And he was like, "What do you do?" I go, "Oh, I work in film." Oh, great. What do you do? He said, "I'm a mortgage broker." I'm like, "Oh, wow. Oh, I'd love to buy an apartment, but I don't know. My income's not regular enough, and now it's COVID." He's like, "No, we can get you an apartment." So long story short, he fought hard and got me one. So that was amazing. So thanks to Lego.
So from building little Lego apartments to actually getting your apartment, it went full circle here.
Just channel it and envision it. Think about it. Tell the universe you want something.
That's so funny.
So that was great.
Yeah.
But during COVID, it was a big circuit breaker. I was lazy. I just remember days of getting up, making a coffee and just sitting there all day watching TV, playing PlayStation. Now it will be different. I think if I was to have that time off now, it would be so different. So COVID was a circuit breaker for me because before then, if I was quiet, I didn't do anything good.
Yep.
I would just eat, drink. I would just have a beer at lunch or I'll just sit around.
Yeah.
I won't go to the studio because I don't need to go there. No, go to the studio. Just clean up, look around. Then you might get productive and think of something else to do, whether it's your own side or the rental side or even, just always something to be done, I think. But totally. I just didn't do that before COVID and obviously not during COVID. And then once COVID finished, I kind of had this brain snap of like, come on, like, it's unhealthy just to kind of sit around and just be depressed, waiting for work.
Yeah.
You can message people and try and get work, but it's, you got to do something about it.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing I found is just a balance between obviously in your downtime working on the business or the DOPing, cinematography, whatever it may be that I've got going on in career world. But you'd also do need to kind of step out, like we play tennis. The last year and a half I've been playing tennis, which I used to play as a kid. I don't know why I just never picked it up. I love the sport. I watch it. I've been playing soccer my whole life, which is another thing I will say. I think sport or doing activity that you can forget about things is probably the best thing ever. I love playing soccer. I have my whole life. It's almost like a religion to me, soccer.
Yeah.
Like we could do a whole hour podcast on soccer. I could just tell you about every little fact. Who won the 98 World Cup? Everything. But I think the main reason why I kept playing it was because of it was good for my mental health.
So it sort of recharges you to get out of that. And, I think
you just go on the field or you go to training.
Yeah.
It's just like any kind of fitness, I guess. And you are the perfect advocate. You've spoken about it many times, how good fitness is and working out. But even soccer, you kind of forget it's a workout and you forget it's fitness, but you also forget everything that's been going on. And when you finish it, you just feel so much better. So then I've started doing tennis. And just, I think looking after myself has made me have more energy and has improved my mental health significantly. Just by making sure I put time aside for myself instead of working too hard, or it's a weird mix. So you can't work too hard, but then you also can't obviously work. You can't then neglect work completely.
Exactly.
And you've got to find the right balance. So I think I found a right balance between putting time aside for work, hustling, and because that's how we get our work in this industry. You got to hustle, got to meet people, go to events, message someone, email someone, hey, I heard about this. So that's important. But there's also that to downtime where you got to make sure you look after yourself.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing point. And so many things on that. But I think, like you're saying there, people in not just this industry, whatever we're trying to do, it's so easy to just fall into that trap of becoming obsessed with just your work and not, getting out of that. And especially stuff that are creative, we actually need to have other experiences outside of it, because that then informs your creativity. Because if you're just only about the work, you're not having enough life experiences.
Exactly.
And it recharges you and opens your mind. And like you said, you might go and start playing with Lego and end up getting a house through it. So that same thing applies to film and TV. And, the majority of people I've met, the contacts that have, in film and TV and other areas, it has been not through directly trying to, force it into reality. It's been putting yourself out there, meeting people, having conversations, and before you know it, it actually helps with, your work and where you're going. So,
most of my work has been just through meeting the right person, chatting, being confident. It's hard. It's not easy, It's not easy,
but, exactly. You got to put yourself out there to do it.
We both go to an event just to kind of watch. Recently, we went to a Breaking Point short film. It was a premiere of a short film, and you went and I just tagged along really. Yeah. And but by going to an event like that, I was a bit nervous. I didn't really know anyone, but if you can just get past that, which is hard. You meet a few people there, now we're talking, and, one day I might work with someone that's connected to that. So it's a strange world.
Yep.
But if you don't, it's just that's how it is,
And I think even events and meeting people and all that sort of stuff, it's the same sort of philosophy as trying to get work, auditioning or whatever it is. You've got to almost go to these things and not expect anything to come out of it. If you're building a network, not be looking at it like I need to get something directly out of this. It's like, let's just build a relationship and see where it goes. Exactly. And often something might happen 2 years later that, but if you're going into it and just everything's out of desperation, that I have to get this job, I have to get this out of this person, people can feel that desperation and that normally leads to, not getting the result.
There's to be a fine line between, not stressing too much, but then if you do nothing, nothing will happen. And if you overload, you'll obviously crash and burn, and physically it won't be good for you, but also mentally, it's just make your whole world tough, and it's all going to be affected. So it's hard to find the right balance.
That's the hard thing. It's
a hard thing, but
balance.
If you can find the balance, even if the scales are not quite aligned, but they're close.
Yep.
Even if you can find that kind of balance, then that's okay too.
And I think realizing there's no perfect balance. Things are always going to be a bit all over the place, but trying your best to keep it within balance, because it is really hard. And, one of the things I wanted to ask you, because this is something I really struggle with, how do you've got your business side of things, you've got your creative side, you're collaborating on projects, you're doing your own projects. Similar for me, I'm, running my own business. I'm trying to produce a TV series. I'm trying to audition for acting things. I get in my head all the time and get really overwhelmed because I'll start thinking all or nothing sort of mentality where I'm like, hang on, how am I going to be able to be creative and do acting when I've got business on my mind all the time and I'm waiting for the perfect time to feel more at ease and free to then do the creative thing, but that never comes. And then you're sort of feeling overwhelmed because you're just trying to, your head's all over the place. So it's sort of, again, I think finding how do you get to that zone where you're able to balance it out, but it can be so difficult. Well, I find it so hard to go between, business sort of mindset, productivity, and then creative. And they're sort of, you're having to do both at once a lot of the time. Like, do you find that hard to manage, and how do you do that?
It is very hard.
Yeah.
And some days focus moves to one instead of the other, then one loses, and vice versa. One day I could, the rental business does, need a lot of attention. So I'll focus my attention on that. But then, I didn't reply to some email about this and that, it's hard, and that will happen sometimes. I might be up late emailing 11 o'clock one night, but then the next day I turn everything off at 6 or 7 or even 5:30. I'm like, that's it, I'm done. So it's tricky. But the good thing about the benefit of my business is it basically correlates perfectly with my creative world, cinematography. So people will come through, and I'm normally producers or camera
through it. Yeah.
So it's not like I made I made up like a business for tiling, or I don't know, just something, just like washing, cleaning. I was lucky enough to be able to make a business, a side business, which is now like a main business, but it relates well with my creative world. And funnily enough, a lot of the jobs that I'm doing now, like the big commercial work, whether it's for Nike, Lululemon, Champion, all of them came from rentals. People walking through my door, renting equipment, and be like, "Oh, you shoot? That's great. We'll think of you. We'll keep you in mind." And all of them have flourished into great connections and relationships with production companies or freelancers or producers or other DOPs. So that a lot of all my commercial works especially has come purely from just people walking through my door to rent a camera or some lenses, and we just strike a conversation.
I love that.
How bizarre.
So it's this full circle thing
where, full circle.
That's like a double win where you've created this business, or a triple win really, because, you've bought all this expensive gear to do, a lot of debt to film with. Through doing that, you create a business utilizing that to then make money. And then through making the money through that business, you meet contacts that then feed the actual work. So it's this full, you've created the perfect ecosystem.
It's just evolution. Just keeps on going.
Keeps on going around.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. But that's so smart. And that's the kind of thing that I think whether at any film school or anyone trying to get into this industry, that kind of thing to me is almost the most important thing people get taught, because a lot of people aren't necessarily that business-minded when they enter this industry, and they might be thinking, I don't want to be business-minded. I just want to be creative, and I just want to do that. And fair enough, a lot of people, that would be great. But if you don't look at it that way, you might shoot yourself in the foot and just not be able to keep going. So I think that kind of thing is such good advice for anyone listening. Yeah. 100%. So what is your, actually, a big part of this podcast is, mental health. We actually met through mental health.
We did.
Essentially, I'd put a post on Instagram about trying to make this little series of mental health videos, and you responded, and we started chatting. And
I think I responded, and I mentioned how I wasn't just trying to get work. I was like, well, obviously, I wanted to connect, but I think the main thing I remember writing was just mental health is such an important thing for me, because my mum has had mental health illnesses and problems for her whole life. So since I was a young boy, I've seen it all and experienced it and lived with that. So I just knew how important mental health was for me for my whole life. So when I seen someone like yourself wanting to do film work and mental health, I'm like, wow. I don't think I didn't think I made it public to all my friends how important mental health was.
Yeah,
really, until we started talking, and there was a stigma, I think, for a long time. How I just won't say anything about my mum and just mental health in general. But that's how we met essentially. I just remember saying it's important to me. I've gone through this with my mum my whole life, and it's just such an important thing to me. Would love to connect with you in that world. And I think, bang, we made a coffee one day, and then how many 5-6 years later or more, here we are.
Exactly, here we are now, and that's what I loved about when you first approached me about that. You were authentic and just wanting to talk about it and wanting to try and do something same as me to get that message out there and use film as a medium. Like we were saying, we're at that breaking point. Premiere the other day, and that's a short film that's centered around men's health and suicide, and I think using film TV as a medium to get these messages out there is such a powerful way to do it, and that's sort of a huge passion of mine and what I love collaborating with you on. And anyway, that's how we met, and we made a little series, these silly, videos that are I had a look the other day, and it's kind of funny. And then we made a few ads during COVID and different things. But I think the bigger thing that came out of it is, this friendship, and then hopefully, one day we'll be on a film together. That's that's the goal.
That's the goal.
To be doing that. But the common theme of mental health in film, again, what this new subset of the Move Your Mind podcast is about, you being the first guest. What, from your experience, you've been in this industry your whole life, have you seen mental health to be a big issue in the industry? And what are some of the, we've talked about it, but what are some of the key things you've seen that contribute to mental health issues in film and TV? If you're feeling stuck, you're not alone. Most people don't realize how connected your mental health is to your body. From your gut to your sleep, movement, food, mindset. Getting active each day can shift how you feel, build confidence, and transform your quality of life. At Move Your Mind, we guide you through this process step by step. If this resonates and you want to learn more, simply go to my Instagram at Nick Brax and click the link on the bio to fill out an application, and I'll send you over more information about the program. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. If you find the show helpful, please share it with a friend and follow me on Instagram. It really helps.
Well, we kind of touched on it earlier, but it's like, the uncertainty is the big one. I think just worrying and not having a regular income is also one, brings on stress.
Yeah.
Also the opposite happens, you just don't know when to switch off. Like you could just be working all day, all night. We've all done it, you and me, even just everyone. It's just, so that's the opposite. So there's what we spoke about before.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So it just creates a whole lot of problems. You burn out essentially. What else? I think it's just generally, it's a strange one because you're always going to be switched on. You're always going to be, especially for the acting side. Like we've seen some, even some actors that, have committed suicide, that you just wouldn't, like the comedians, and it's just such a weird thing. Like you got to be switched on all the time, public eye and, on camera, you got to pump yourself up.
Yeah.
And then but in reality, like you're having a hard time. It's hard, it's tricky, and even behind the scenes as well, it's the same thing, You got to get there, you got to deliver, it's hard.
That's the crazy thing. And
I guess that is in a lot of workplaces, though. Not just film and TV, I guess, but a lot of workplaces. But I think the problem with film and TV is that, like, some days you can be on set for 14 hours. So it's like, there's like it's just, it's a tough one.
I think it's, similar things, but it's just amplified.
It is a bit,
It's
and no one talks about it. It's just,
And it's this weird thing where I think there's just not enough sort of a backbone to support people in the industry with it.
Yeah.
And then there's the sort of outside perception that it's all glamorous.
Yeah, like all my friends from soccer, I'm rich. I'm why can't I sponsor the club because I've got so much money? I'm always happy and joking and laughing, which I am. But the reality is that some months I would earn significantly less than anyone in that team.
Yeah.
But they don't know it. They think. It's always been the thing for like over 10 years now. They
think
like,
you just made money
I travel everywhere. I'm filming all the time. I've got so much money. Like, it's just ridiculous how much money I have and how happy I am.
Yeah.
It just makes you laugh. It's actually quite the opposite. Sometimes I'm just like sitting there going like, fuck, I've got no money, or, I'm just, sometimes, I may seem happy and like joking around, but in reality, I'm just like was crying in the car, half an hour before I'm on set, which is, confronting thing to think about and say, but that's the reality of our industry. I'll get in the van and I'll hear a song and just cry and start thinking about something. Yeah. Wipe away the tears, get on the set, back on, here we are.
And no one would know.
G'day everyone. Oh, you're 5 minutes late. Ha ha ha. Laugh. And you go and shoot. But the reality is, like, I sit in my car and in my little own space where I'm not near my partner or friends or anyone, and then just have a little moment to myself. Yeah. And that happens all the time. And and
I wonder how many other people are having those kind of moments.
Of
I'm sure so many that we don't hear about.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, isn't it? We just, especially in this industry, it's like social media and where the world's at now, where everyone is trying to compete to sort of be seen to be having, the better life, when we're comparing ourselves to other people. And we see from afar, everyone thinks it looks all glamorous and amazing, but behind the scenes, it's just so different. And,
it is.
If we don't talk about it, then you just don't know what people are going through.
You don't know.
And I think it's important that you're talking about that, because that's not a sign of weakness to be having that moment in the car. And then, it's actually a good, healthy thing to have that outlet, but it just, you need support, and we need to all support each other. And again, makes me feel better because I think about times where I've been, going and doing a TV interview, and before it, I've been almost having a panic attack.
Yeah, you told me. I was like, wow, really? Like, not you, like, model man, Nick Brax, like confident, doing all this mental health advocacy, like, surely not. And you're like, I was actually having a panic attack. I'm like, how on earth is my friend, is in the public eye doing amazing things. How can this guy have a panic attack? It's like, well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's not going on in here and in here.
Yeah, and I'm comparing myself.
It's funny that I just didn't. I think that that could be a thing. For someone like yourself. You're like, no, panic attacks. Were happening. And once you told me that, I was like, wow, okay.
Exactly.
I would never would have known.
Yeah, and it's like everyone's got their own, stuff they're going through, and I'll be comparing myself to other people or feeling like I'm not good enough or whatever it is. And you'll have this stuff happening, and then, like you were saying, you're going through this thing, but you're so used to having to put on a front that then you can just go boom, click yourself into performance mode.
You have to, and
you're putting on a front. No one would know, what the hell's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. And again, I think it's great to talk about it because there are 100% so many performers and just people in general that are doing that. And
exactly,
you hear about if these performers that commit suicide or that die from a drug overdose or whatever it is.
Yeah, it seems to be a shock, but when you think about it, it's not. It shouldn't be a shock.
It shouldn't be a shock
because I think that's one of the that's one of the differences in our industry or the entertainment industry.
Yeah,
in general, is just that you have to just like block it all out.
Yeah,
unfortunately, and then get to work and delegate tasks like the ACs, the gaffers, the grips, directors, actors. You can't just. You have to put on a show. You have to get into work zone and do your job.
Yeah,
and that's. Although good at the time, in reality, the longer that goes on, the more you're bottling up and pushing things aside.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing with us. It's just like you have to put on a smiley face, a brave face, and get through it. When in reality, it's really the opposite. And and then it could be like months go on, and you just or years even, and you just have avoided feelings and emotions and. Yeah, because you're obviously scared. Also, it's the stigma attached to it. So, if I'm suffering, then I'm worried I might not get work. You can find out, Anthony, he's actually suffering from severe depression and this and that. We probably shouldn't hire him because let him sort it out.
That's a really good point.
It's like, well, fuck, I'm not going to.
That's a very good point.
So if I'm struggling and I need some time off, I won't say it because I will miss out on work.
And
you can't miss out on work because if I miss out on that job, I won't meet them. It's like a Christmas tree. It's like a family tree.
Yeah.
You meet someone on that set. And then, then you meet them and you talk to them. Then before you know it, you've got this big pool of contacts just from one job. So you can't miss any work or any jobs in our industry. So it's a liability having a mental health condition or illness rather. So if I'm struggling, I can't tell anyone. I just got to keep going and going and going and going until there's a moment a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. John, who's recording this today, me, John and Liam, we're trying to start up page and we're sort of always talk and that's the whole thing, always trying to just be smiley, be happy. I think one day Liam was just trying to help me with the page. I just blew up, started swearing at him for no reason, and just basically then called him and said I'm so sorry, just crying, I got my family problems going on. My mum was looking after my grandma. She looked after her for 5 years. And and that's another thing we can talk about soon is she was looking after someone and then didn't look after herself.
That's a good point.
A long time of neglect, and that affected me too for 5 years. And I just blew up at my friends.
Yeah,
called Liam, and I was just crying. I'm I'm so sorry I blew up at you. And we just caught up that afternoon. I literally was like, let's go have a spa, a sauna, or something.
Yeah,
just really random thing. And we just jumped in the pool and the sauna and just chatted for an hour. And it was all kind of what a release it was.
Yeah,
and in a weird way, a release. I had to let it out. Unfortunately, it was to him. But then I called him and said, I'm sorry, cried, and it's just my family stuff. You're doing great.
And he would have understood completely.
Just trying to help me. And for some reason, I was angry that he's trying to take over. No, he wasn't. He's just trying to help me. And then that was one of the moments where I'm wow, fuck, I just spoke about it. I called him and was crying. And he was like, it's okay. He's I'm the same. Fuck. I'm wow, hang on a minute. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then everything, it was like a release, How bizarre,
And that's what, close friends are for. Because if you can't talk about that with a close friend, they're probably not that close of a friend.
Yeah.
and they won't judge you for it. But we have that fear, especially as men, I think,
Oh,
a
man,
lot
yeah.
of, so much of the time.
We're tough.
Yeah.
We're big boy, tough.
We're big boys.
No one could find out what's going on. No, we're tough. We never cry.
Yeah.
We're always strong and
we
happy.
don't feel emotions.
I know, yeah.
We don't get sad.
No,
we push through everything.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like robots. But
Yeah.
no, that's any close friend, you should be able to do that. But
I think you'd be surprised.
We have that fear.
How many friends you have got to talk to, I think.
Oh my God, they're all happy. I still remember when I was I was probably 20 at the time, or 21, when I was severely depressed and going through, this really horrible period, and I had never spoken about it. And eventually I told my best friend what I was going through, and I was like literally shaking. I was trembling trying to tell her.
Yeah.
And I thought she would never, look at me the same again.
Yeah.
And it was the opposite. I was just so relieved. I was
Exactly.
like, oh my God, she not only understood, but she helped me and talked to me about it. And it's like you said, that release. And that's what sort of got me so passionate to try and have these conversations, because it seems like a common sense thing. Like, why don't we just talk about these things? But often we don't do that common sense thing. And the point you're saying before, I think it is elevated probably in film and TV, but this applies everywhere, where
It does.
I see this in my talks in the workplace all the time, where people are terrified to talk about what they're going through because they're thinking, well, hang on, I need to hold on to my job, and I need to get a pay rise. And if I show vulnerability, they're not going to see me as reliable, and I might lose my job. And I interviewed Sarah Jeffrey, who's like a pretty big actress in the US. She's got bipolar, and her managers have said to her for years, never talk publicly about your mental health. Don't do this, don't do that. And she got to a point where she's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about it. I don't give a shit if it affects my work or not. And it didn't actually end up affecting anything. She still kept getting booked for work, and she was able to help people and be more authentic. And I think the world's at a place now where, you can talk about this stuff. And maybe who knows, maybe some jobs will get affected, but I think in general it won't. And I had that same thing. I had people saying to me, you've got to be careful when I started doing all the mental health work, make sure that doesn't affect your ability to, be taken seriously for jobs. And it's like, well,
madness. Yeah.
fuck off. Then I started actually not getting jobs because I wasn't able to be myself. I think, you need to always be able to be authentically yourself, whether that means talking about something painful that you're going through or whatever else it is. But I think that's what people relate to, and I think it actually leads to you having more success in your career. So it's a tricky thing.
It is, yeah. It's tricky.
Yeah.
I probably don't talk about it enough, to be honest.
None of us do.
No,
but yeah,
I'm just happy, always laughing, always joking around. But I'm not perfect.
which is fun as well. And that's
I know, yeah.
I think that's like what we.
But almost,
That's how
I need to get better at it. I need to get better at it. I think that's sometimes it's a way of coping, I guess, in a way. Like putting on a brave face, and I do enjoy being silly, mucking around, making people laugh.
Well, I think that's one of the things we like to do together as well.
I know. It's our personality.
We won't share, the silly stuff we talk about here. Probably we might.
No, what time is this being streamed?
Yeah.
Oh, in America it might be late now.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
wait, this one story now.
But that's fun. But yeah, you do need to have that outlet, and that's the thing. And we just feel like often we feel like it's a burden on the other person, which I've never felt that. Whenever I've had a friend that was going through anything, if they've wanted to talk to me about it, I'm like, please, I'm here for you. Talk about it. But it's hard to do it because we can have that feeling of like, I don't want to be a hindrance on this.
A hindrance, and it's also like, next time we catch up, it'll be on the back of people's minds.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just go out and have a drink or a beer or coffee anymore.
They might look at me different or judge me.
Be like, oh, are you okay? And then it's like, as nice as it is to us, it's also like that, people are like, yeah, it's tough.
Yep.
But you just got to break through that, You do.
You have
and
to.
I think we're getting better. Well, I think, it's always all across the media, and we're getting better at like making films about mental health, talking about it. Are you okay day? Like we're from decades ago, we're miles ahead of where we were. But unfortunately, like we're still like barely touching the iceberg. Really, I think we've still got so long to go. As far as we've come, we've still got a long way to go.
Oh, massively. We've got so far to go.
Which is scary. But we're doing well. But we've still got a long way to go.
But it is scary, yeah, exactly. Like you're saying, we've come so far. But the scary thing is, it's more talked about now. And I think we falsely think that means...
Oh, everything's good now. Everyone's talking about it. That's good now. No,
we
it's
think
like,
it's not true, you know, and statistics show, if anything, it's probably worse than it's ever been, which is horrible to say.
Yeah.
And it's not to discredit the fact that it has come a long way and it's talked about. But I think within that, we can become complacent and we can think, oh, no, you know, I don't really need to do that much about it. But at the end of the day, every single person needs to do their part. We all need to make that effort to be, and this is again what I say in companies, you can't wait for things to change. And you know, we're taught, I think, with mental health, it's all reactive. It's like, okay, here's what you do when you have a breakdown, when all these bad things happen. And obviously that's important. But what about trying to just be more holistic about it, trying to do things daily that are going to be putting mechanisms in place to just keep us stable regardless of what happens, and you know, not waiting for someone else to do it. It's like all becoming a leader ourselves and asking other people how are they going, you know, trying to facilitate these conversations, trying to make ourselves accountable, finding friends that will hold us accountable.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's like that analogy I said at that event last week for the breaking point. It's like if you're shoving rubbish in a rubbish bin and you keep shoving more and you're stomping on it, and you know it's so full, but you keep trying to stomp more down. Eventually, it'll actually just explode.
I mean, it's all compacted, but eventually it will come out.
It'll explode, and you know we want to avoid that happening. So everyone needs an outlet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's so true. So I think that point you said before is super relevant to what we're talking about, where you were saying, I think, with your mum having to look after your grandma, it started meaning she wasn't able to actually look after herself.
No. So my mum had mental health issues and problems for her whole life. As a young boy, just seeing someone explode in anger, you know, and she'd be like, that's bad, mummy, but I'm good, mummy, now. But you know, like it's hard to say, but it's like, you know, as a 3 or 4 year old, even a little bit older or younger, whatever it was, I just remember her saying, like, you know, oh, sorry, that was bad, mummy, but I'm good, mummy, now. Because she had like anger problems and like anxiety, depression, OCD. She had so many things going on. I was so confused when I was a young boy.
I was going to say that would be.
But then the best way she could describe it is like, that was bad, mum. But now this is, I'm good, mum, now it's fine. But you know, maybe a couple of hours later, something would happen, and she would just go off and just cry and like have an anxiety attack or panic attack. And the only way she could describe it was like, bad, mum. That's different. Yeah. And I was like, it's just confronting and kind of interesting. I don't know. It's bizarre, you know, as a young boy to kind of witness all that, you know.
Yeah.
And some of it, you know, affected me, you know, my own mental health. Just as you go on living with that, it's tough because I'm trying to support her throughout, you know, as a child, as a teenager, young adult, whatever, you know, and even further, even now, trying to support that, but also it does affect you too, you know, seeing all that, witnessing all that.
Of course.
But yeah, back on what I said before, you know, my grandma got sick and had to move in, and I was also living with my parents. So it was my parents, me, and my grandma, and my mum. That was probably the lowest she's ever been. Even though she was caring for her mum and doing a good thing, it also put her in a very bad place. She didn't leave the house for years, which is it's insane to say that.
Yeah.
So like, it got so bad that she wouldn't leave the house to go to the shops. Like my dad would go shopping for her. She didn't ever leave the house. She didn't buy any more clothes. Didn't see any friends. All her friends cut off, finished. No more friends. She just stayed at home and looked after my grandma, which was great because my grandma was able to get 24/7 care, which my mum enjoyed doing and spending time with my mum. But I saw her at her lowest, essentially. You know, it was a detriment to my mum's health.
Was it the kind of thing where your mum didn't want help with that as well? Was she trying to sort of take control of that situation?
Take control, and then as time went on, she wasn't happy with her image because she hadn't left the house in years. So then she couldn't leave the house. She couldn't talk or see anyone.
So it's like got this cascading effect.
Yeah, and then it just snowballed into like it was just it just snowballed and snowballed for her. Yeah, and I'm living there too.
Yeah.
So it's like I would have to help. I couldn't go to bed until I would help do certain things, which is fine. I'm happy to do that, but it just was like it just got really tough on everyone. You know,
of course.
I mean, now that she passed away nearly a year ago, and I still do cherish the moments, sitting on the couch with her, watching TV, joking around, making her laugh. Like I do cherish those moments, but it was tough on the family. You know, even my mum and dad were fighting. You know, it was a really tough time to have that. So yeah, she was looking after. That's the thing. It's like she was looking after her mum, but also completely forgot about her own mental health, and she's probably the worst she ever was. As a result,
it's tough. Yeah,
and the same applies with our situation. I was trying to help her too. My mum was supporting my grandma, and me and my dad were supporting her. And then when was she'd talk to we would make her try and even call someone. If you can't go to a psychiatrist, psychologist, or just try and talk to like a support network out, like Help, Lifeline, or just talk to some support. And she'd be on the phone with hours to them. And then they brought up a topic like, how are your kids? How's your son and father? And she's like, well, it's not, I'm talking about, this is my problem. And they're like, no, like, how are they? And then that's when mum was like, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, like...
Yeah.
So I got my poor grandma, and then my mum was looking after her. But then me and my dad were supporting her.
Yeah.
So then we were almost caught into the whole, like, our mental health then took a decline too. Like the day I snapped out, when I said earlier, I snapped at my friends, and I was turning up late for work.
Yeah.
I was like labelled as the guy that didn't care. I was lazy. I just was, almost fired from so many jobs. The talk was just like, I'm lazy. I don't care. But it actually was the opposite.
Just not
I was
true.
like, I was leaving home from mayhem. My mum screaming at my dad because he hadn't done this and something had fallen on the floor. And I was like, I got to leave now. It's an hour and a half drive to the city. I'm going to be late for a shoot. And I have to stay there for half an hour and tackle this nearly daily.
Yeah.
I get to work late. And I was just, late again.
And you're probably not sleeping enough as well.
I didn't tell my best friends. I didn't tell no best friend really knew for a long time that, there was other things going on. Which if I said something sooner, it would have been so different. Yeah, they would have been understanding. But I was scared to tell them because friends, and I just didn't want to embarrass myself. Yeah. B, it's obviously because not only are we best mates, we're also working together. So it's hard to kind of share those things when you're working together too. Oh, we want to hire you next time. We might hire another person if it's easier. So I just didn't talk about it. And then caring for someone is so important. But then it's almost like on a plane, put your oxygen mask on first and then and then pass it to someone. You can't help someone if you're, in a not a good way. And eventually my mum couldn't help my grandma anymore. She was too far gone. Yeah. Essentially, she'd burnt herself out. And then we had to, it's a sad moment when you have to, send a loved one to like aged care. But that was a changing day for my mum, essentially. Yeah. She was able to kind of, the stress was relieved a bit and she was able to kind of slowly get better. Slowly get better, and it kind of relieved a lot of things. I was able to move out, start my life. Yeah, I know I'm a Greek boy, so I'm surprised. I probably should be living at home now anyway. I'm 33, but I moved out of home like 28, 29, like properly. Yeah, 28. Yeah. No,
which is actually not 27. Not as unusual these days.
Nah, but probably like 27, 28, I moved out.
Yeah.
Because my grandma was able to go to a care place nearby, so I was able to see her often. But that relieved a lot of tension for my mum, and it had been like 5-6 years since I'd seen. Even before that, she wasn't great, but even to see the woman before that who was still needing help, it was a breath of fresh air.
Totally.
And then I've been able to, after seeing all that, been able to speak up a bit more. Work on myself, be better. And then since having my own place, working on my own mental health, trying to do what I need to do for myself. Has helped me with my work life too. I've been able to get great jobs and meet new people, and it's tough. But I was speaking to a friend during the same time as well. You might know him, Patrick Harvey. He was on Neighbours. He was the Irish guy on Neighbours. Oh,
yeah, I think I know.
Sorry, Paddy, but the Irish guy. And he was me and him he was the first man I think that I spoke to about mental health.
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you one story. He moved to Germano near where I was living in Safety Beach, and we went out for drinks one night, and I was so upset and frustrated and anxious with all the family things going on. I was with him having a few drinks, and I was just like, I just got so angry. I just like smashed the wine glass. I don't know why anyone would do that. I was drinking some red wine. It was half full, and he's just like, we were just having a conversation, and he's like, "You're right." And I just went like, bang! I just smashed it, and I was like, "No, I'm not okay." Like it's such an obscene thing to do. And then since it's just a bizarre thing, but we just would speak about it all the time. And he was just saying, I know that you're family, but you got to put yourself first. What I said before about the oxygen mask thing. So it doesn't matter if it's your mum and dad or sister. You just got to put yourself first. I can't help my family if I can't help myself. Yeah. If you come to me with and I'm in a bad way, it's hard to help. So that's what
exactly.
Once he told me, it's like, I know it's your mum and dad, and you drop everything, and you got to do your best. You still got to service yourself. You still got to help yourself. And once he said that, I think it almost changed my life in a way. Just saying, look after yourself first. So if I finished work at 4:00 and I was going to go straight home and help, I would drive to the beach for half an hour. Yeah. And then just come home and say, "Oh, we went late a bit," or whatever I would say. But just taking that advice on board, looking after yourself first. Enabled me to not only cope with the situation better and help my family, but it really helped me.
I think it's such an important point. Yeah.
It's cliche because, we've heard it all before, make sure you look after yourself first, but it actually really is one of the best things you can do.
Yep.
So that really was a tipping point for me.
Yeah.
Getting out of that time in my life where I was struggling for sure. Just try to look after yourself.
Yeah.
And so my mum did too. My grandma then went to aged care, hard because she felt guilty that she was sending her off. She wanted just to keep on looking after her, but you can't.
Yeah.
And then my mum looked after herself too. And then, my grandma was still getting care. You could still see her down the road. But then my mum started looking after herself, and that helped everything.
Yeah.
So,
it started, it's this ripple effect.
It's like a domino effect, but in opposite, they're almost lifting up.
Exactly.
It's like dominoes in reverse.
In both ways, yeah. It goes domino in the negative
and
way.
Then you just
when
hit
you
reverse, and then they start going back up again.
It's so true, though. It's so true.
Reverse dominoes.
Yeah. Reverse domino effect. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I think that's a really important story because, like you're saying, you were giving an example there of through that whole thing, it was affecting in the negative way with the domino effect. And because you didn't have the outlets at that time, it came out in that rage. And again, we were talking about this in the Breaking Point film where they were showing men where we often deal with our emotions through anger because if we're not allowing it to come out, we're not talking about it, we're not necessarily thinking about or allowing ourselves to try and look at what we're feeling and where that's coming from, we'll just get frustrated. We'll be angry because we can't get rid of it, and then that will come out in a fit of rage. And
it comes across as like such a different thing. Like it just comes out as anger.
Yeah.
When
you're actually not, it's not anger. It's
you're not angry. You're just struggling.
You're sad. You're upset. You're struggling.
Like the trash can exploded.
Yeah.
Boom. And it's just a big act, but it's actually just a build up of like so many little moments and instances over years.
Yeah.
Essentially that's
not having that outlet for it. It's so true.
And I should probably still talk about things more. Like, still not perfect. But that time that affected my career, and everyone just thought I was lazy, and I didn't say anything. Like,
that would have.
It sounds silly, doesn't it? Like I'm just being labelled and targeted as the most laziest person. I don't give a hell about my job. I'm just always late. Like it's not hard to get there on time. But in the reality is I'm just dealing with so much. It just would have taken one little moment to take a friend aside, or even Stig, who was the director, or whatever production I was working on. Yeah. And just like, hey, I'm blah 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 blah. I don't know, but it's hard. Not easy.
If you're feeling stuck, we get it. Most people don't realize how connected your mind is to your body. Sleep, gut health, food, exercise, it all matters. At Move Your Mind, we help you lose weight, build confidence, and reset your mindset in just 100 days. There's no extremes and no experience needed. We guide you to build simple habits and routines that will last for a lifetime. If this resonates and you want to learn more, simply go to my Instagram at Nick Brax and click the link on the bio to fill out an application, and I'll send you over more information about the program. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. If you have any suggestions for new topics or guests, please send me a DM on Instagram at Nick Brax.
What's hard, and it's exactly until you've done it a few times, like anything, it's hard to do, and it again cascades because you're at that point you've dealing with the family stuff, your own mental health is declining, then because work is being affected by that, you're not telling them about it, then you're getting more anxious probably about work as well.
Exactly.
So again, it goes
in the
negative domino effect.
Yeah.
Until you go and do something about it in each category. But
exactly.
The important point out of all of this is if we're not honest about what we're going through, if we don't have outlets, if we can't talk to people, if we can't put ourselves first, which often we're taught is selfish, which it's not.
It's actually opposite.
It's the complete opposite.
You need to be a little bit selfish to help others.
You have to be.
To help yourself and to help others, you've got to be selfish.
You have to be selfish. You saying like you had to, you'd stop half an hour early before you got home to just give yourself that time.
I knew that I should probably be there helping. Like my mum was trying to do something, my dad was trying to do something.
Yeah.
And they were like arguing, like, you need to come home and help us with this. And I did need to help. But I just took half an hour.
But it's not selfish.
I just took half an hour off, relax, breathe. The day wasn't great or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Then I would come home a new frame of mind to help do what I need to do instead of coming back from a busy day,
having no break,
and then going into that kind of situation would have been so much worse.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I was selfish, sure, a little bit, but that helped the situation.
And it's really not.
We
selfish.
Should do that. No, it's not. I
know. We're told that it is, but it's not. And you have to put yourself first so you can help other people.
Exactly.
It just doesn't work. And again, if I look at these companies, you've got these leaders in companies that are often trying to take on everything. They're helping so many people, and they're not looking after themselves, and they're completely falling apart. They're not sleeping enough. They're not eating properly. No. They're abusing alcohol and drugs. They're literally sacrificing themselves to help people, and it does get to that point, exactly like you said.
They think they're a good boss because they're doing.
They think they're being good,
but in fact, it's just like you could be probably doing more, but by doing less. That's a weird way to say it, but you know what I mean.
True,
like,
yeah.
Just kind of stepping aside and having that moment.
Yeah, and they break down.
No,
that's the thing. They burn out. And it's like anything. It's like we're trying to achieve something. We often think, okay, I've got to work harder than the next person. And, we listen to all these motivational speakers who are saying, you just got to get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, get up at 4 a.m.
Sleep less, sleep for 3 or 4 hours a night, work harder, do this, do that. If most people went and did that,
it'd be mayhem.
You'll fucking break down.
It'd be like an apocalypse. Zombies running around.
It won't work.
It'd be mayhem.
It's such bad advice. It's like, look after yourself. Get enough sleep. Most people need at least 8 hours sleep a night.
Yeah.
Get enough sleep. Eat well. Have time out. Do these different things.
Yeah.
You will end up performing better.
I think so, yeah.
We're taught these bullshit analogies that aren't true. We've got to look after ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I said. You got to look after yourself.
Your peace of mind. Yeah.
The other thing I found is that some people, like I'm one of them, it's a bit daunting and scary to start talking to a therapist or psychologist or counselor, anyone, right? It's very beneficial. And everyone, I think one day, whether it's 50 years from now, 10 years from now, it'll be such a common thing. Like everyone in high school will have to go see someone once a week, twice a week, whatever it is. It should be a thing.
I agree.
Maybe one day, right? But obviously when you get older and, we're our age and, you're not at school, it's tricky, but we all should. But like I'm one of them, it's a bit daunting to go talk to someone. He says, logistically it won't work. Got to tell everyone my things. It's tough. But one thing I found that really helped me is writing a journal. Just happened that, like, naturally one day an app popped up saying, just write a journal. I'm like, I've just got a new little laptop that I take everywhere with me. I might give it a go. So I started writing a journal. And it was actually timed in when I just lost my grandma. So I was, when like last May, and I was struggling.
Which would have been super tough.
Only child, so like I've got my mum is an only child. My dad's family's in England, so it literally was just me, mum, dad, and grandma.
And you were super close with your grandma.
Close. I still actually lived with her for many years, like a sister, best friend, mum to me.
Yeah, that's hard.
Everything, all the jokes I do and how I am today, mostly probably comes from her. Like all my silliness and all the things I come up with, random words, is also just coming from her.
Yeah, which is a beautiful thing.
It was beautiful, and she's with me forever, which is great.
Yeah.
During that moment, it was a weird kind of timing, but as she passed, during that week, I just discovered this app, and I got a laptop, and I started journaling, just like writing down my thoughts. And I think it was only supposed to be a few paragraphs, but I would write I would sit there for 10, 20 minutes, just writing probably way too much. It didn't take me until probably 3 or 4 days to realize I think I'm doing therapy. I think I'm actually my own therapist here. I think I'm almost kind of self-helping I'm doing self-help essentially. Writing out my day. I would say my thoughts, I thought this at the time, but maybe it's just blah blah blah. So I go back and reading it now, wow, I don't know if I'll ever go back and read everything, but at the time, just to kind of get your thoughts out at the end of the day, as a diary, I think it was almost a bit of therapy.
It is
self-therapy.
100%.
And I would recommend, it's a great thing to do, even if it's just a few sentences. At the end of the day, I felt like this, just to say it, even if I'm not saying it to anyone, I was really stressed today because he said that, but then I thought about it and then this has happened as a result and I feel great, or however it is, just by getting it onto the screen, made me feel, I could then go to sleep being I've got it out. And so no one's reading it. I'm not saying it to anyone specifically.
It's for you.
But it just helped getting it out. So it was almost like a mini release. But just by saying how I felt. And then I could acknowledge how I felt was right. Yep, that's all fine. Okay. Put it down, go to sleep. Then I realized it's no longer a journal. It's almost it's almost like a mini therapy session at the end of each day. Just that no one's reading it and then talking back.
I think it's one of the best things.
So if you are scared to do therapy, go to a psychologist. If it's a little bit too much, you should do it. But if you really can't, then I would recommend just trying to do a journal and then, get your thoughts and everything just on paper, in a journal.
And I ideally do both. But, that's the good thing about what you're saying there with journaling. It's available for everyone. It doesn't cost anything to do it. And it's so true because we have... I don't even remember the number. We made those ads where it was about the beat the negativity and however many thoughts, 10,000 or something, is it, a day?
1 in 4 or 5 people have over 10,000 negative thoughts a day.
A
or something.
day.
It's just like,
It's
but you don't even
crazy.
realize it. Like
We're so conditioned.
during this interview alone, I've just been like, I should stop saying that. Should I say that? Should I not say that? That's stupid. You know, like, am I sweating too much? Will that show on camera? That's a silly thought. You know, we just think of so much every day.
We think of so many
and
things.
it wasn't until I think I wrote and directed those and you were acting in them. And then we looked up the statistics and I was like, holy crap.
It's crazy.
I just wanted to make a little like 30-second video about mental health and negative thoughts. And then when we researched what I wanted to do, it was almost eye-opening for both of us.
Oh my God, it's so many. And that's the thing, I think. So the example you're saying with the journaling, it's so good because it's a way to get this stuff out of our head. And like you're saying there, I did a radio interview yesterday and I was really tired and I went in there and I was telling myself all these incredibly negative things. And then I finished it and I looked back and I was like, oh, it actually went well. But at the time I was like, oh, this guy can probably see that I'm tired right now and I feel awkward and embarrassed and all these things. And your mind just goes on and on. But I think if you write them down, like you're saying, over time, you can keep looking back and you can remember, you can look at all the touch points and think,
exactly.
hang on, okay.
This is constantly happening.
Yeah, this
Why
is happening.
That?
But
everything's fine.
And everything's fine. And all of these things that I keep thinking, they never actually come into reality. So is thinking about this and telling myself all of this negative stuff actually helping with anything? And do I actually, we can't stop ourselves from thinking.
No, you can never stop it.
But what we can do is we can choose what we give power to. So you can realize, okay, when my mind is telling me, worried about, is that this person judging me? Am I going to, do this or that? We can remind ourselves, hey, you know what? Okay, I can't get rid of that thought, but I don't believe it because I know I've done this journaling now and I've done it for a month and I can look back and every single time that's happened, nothing bad happened.
Exactly.
So it's like that. I think it's such a powerful way. And, like you were saying, I think everyone should do therapy because it's the best one of the best personal development things we can do. We all need to, even if you're not suffering from a mental health condition, just to
it's almost like training. Like,
it's like, exactly.
If you're an actor, you go to acting classes. Even though you're the world's best actor, you still have to do acting training.
Yeah.
I'm still learning on the job. We're all learning, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're like not actively, if you're not feeling depressed or anxious,
and journaling is another one of those things.
You're just going about life.
Yeah.
You could still benefit from speaking to someone.
Oh, and I equate it to being like with exercise, you shouldn't wait until you have a heart attack to start exercising.
Yeah, no.
So a lot of people that are really fit exercise regularly still. They don't, just because you're fit, you don't just stop doing it. You keep doing it. And therapy is the same thing. Journaling is the same thing. Meditation, talking to people about it, all these things we're talking about, you shouldn't wait until we have that breakdown and have that fit of rage. We should be doing it regularly because that's how you build that muscle and how you create longevity. There's no end to it.
It's like your car has the engine light on. You're going to get it fixed, right? Or do you just put tape over it?
Exactly.
The car will break down eventually.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will we wouldn't do that. As soon as you see the engine light on your car, you call whoever it is that second or the next morning, the next day, whatever, and it gets sorted, right?
Yeah.
But we just who in their right mind would just put some tape over it? No one. It's a thing, right?
And that's just a car,
And it's just a car. It's like we're doing the same thing. It sounds like I'm not, it could be something small and we're just like, oh, it doesn't matter. Eventually, the car will fall apart. That's what happens to people.
Which is even like,
we don't do it.
And this is another analogy people use a lot, which it's so crazy when you think about it. Like, we get a car that we really care about. We'll put the best fuel in it, all these sort of things. Yet ourselves, our body's our only asset. Our mind's our only asset. And we will feed ourselves crap.
Yeah.
We'll take drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. And we wouldn't, we're not going to go fill a car up with, crappy petrol or put dirt in it or something. Yet we're willing to do it to ourselves.
Exactly.
It's like kind of crazy. When you think about it, it's like, hang on, there is nothing more important. No amount of money, no amount of, prestige, no amount of anything is going to be more important than your health and well-being.
Exactly.
So
it's hard to look after yourself.
So crazy.
But once you start looking after yourself, you do feel better. As I said,
you see the results.
The whole actively now doing tennis with friends, like the soccer team thing, but now playing tennis with friends. Like after this, we're gonna have a hit.
Yeah.
How good's that?
Exactly. And I love it. Forward to it. And you pushed me to do that, and I'm like, that's a new thing for me to start doing. I'm loving it now.
My motto is fitness wins. Doesn't matter if I bet you 6-love. I'm sorry I said that on this.
I know.
No, 6-1 or something.
Wait, I got close. Did I win a set? No, I got close.
You nearly won a set.
I'm building back up.
But fitness wins,
getting there.
and also mental health wins too. I look forward to playing it and I feel better afterwards. It motivates me to then eat a bit healthier. You know, some days I'm not as good as others, but since eating healthier, monitoring mental health, trying to just be better, it's so hard at first. It's actually a chore when you just change your ways and then try and eat healthier, try and exercise more. Even if it's going for a walk, you don't have to play tennis for 2 hours, play in a soccer team. You can literally do like a couple kilometer walk around the block for half an hour. That's still good. And it's hard to start that up, but once you start it up, you look forward to it.
Exactly.
And then it's your me time. It's whether it's you're walking with a friend or on your own. You know, I think it helps a lot.
Oh, massively.
Even if it's a half an hour walk.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Just try something different and stick to it, and you will feel better.
And that applies to anything we're doing. Like, I think, you know, life is overwhelming. So any new habit, you shouldn't be making it this overwhelming thing. It's like, how can I just do something small, like you're saying there?
Yeah.
Go and have a hit of tennis for half an hour or whatever it is. But if we make it into this big thing, and it's the same with work, if it's like, I want to get into acting, I want to get into filmmaking, whatever it is, if you're telling yourself, okay, but why am I not getting paid $1 million a year? Why am I not making these huge films? You'll probably blow up and get so panicked where it's like, what can I do today? Can I, you know, do this one activity today to just get myself that one step forward? If you just do that every single day, a year later you look back and you've done so much. And
that's hard in our industry because we do the long days thing is tricky. You know, like talking to friends outside the industry, it's 9 to 5. They'll get home at 5, then they'll have a shower or they'll eat, and then they'll go for their run. They'll go and do their thing. But some days it's like, you know, we want to play tennis, and you've been like, sorry, that went over, or that went over, and you got to cancel it. So I understand it is tricky in our industry. Like I'm supposed to be home at 5 one day, I get home at 8. What happened? We just got delayed, packed down, went longer, and talent. It just happens, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You know, this podcast is about is the entertainment industry, and it is hard. You know, we love our jobs, you know, and it's fantastic what we do, but you know, we don't have that luxury of,
you don't have that luxury,
you know, like, and you know, and funnily enough, like, you know, I wouldn't do a 9 to 5 job. I don't think I would be able to do it. Yeah. But as a result, it's such a roller coaster of a journey. But then, so, you know, I wanted to play tennis on Tuesday. I couldn't do it. That's okay. We organised today. This is, you know, you work around
But
it.
then we have the freedom, you know, where a lot of people wouldn't be able in the middle of a day on, what is it, Wednesday today? To go and talk and then play tennis. So,
I know.
You know, it's like this. But I think what the point you're making there is actually so important because what I think people need to be aware that whatever decision we make in life, even if it's following our dreams, doing what we love, every single thing will have a positive and a negative side. So,
of course.
You know, you want to do what you love. It's exactly what you said. It's probably not 9 to 5, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
But within that 24/7, it's not really work because you're doing what you love and there's going to be hard parts of that and there's going to be sacrifices and there's going to be the long days and you're not going to be able to have as much of a routine, but you get to do what you love.
Exactly.
Whereas if you just want stability and you want to go the 9 to 5, that's great. You know, you can have that if that suits you. But I think acknowledging, I think in the world we live in and because of, you know, instant gratification, social media being so toxic for so many people just wanting to not have to work for things now and just get, you know, something.
Yeah.
Then
it's the quickest path.
The quick fix. And
You know.
the get-rich-quick scheme. You can't be happy because it won't lead to the result and you won't actually, you'll miss the point. And even if you do get the result, you won't be happy because you'll be frustrated that it comes with all of these other, you know, obstacles or it's not, you know, it's like you're looking at it in the wrong way. So I think it's just being honest with yourself about what is worth. I think the better way to look at it is in life, what is worth suffering for? Because you're going to suffer somewhat either way.
Yeah.
I don't mean don't talk about your mental health, but what's worth, you know, putting my time towards.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing to take away from it is that also like, it's a tough industry, but also the positive is, you know, you can have the Wednesday, Thursday off. Yeah. You know, and like, you know, I said it at the start, I'm like, when will I work next? Oh my God. You know, well, you know, take a day for yourself. Go and do things that make you happy.
Yeah.
You know, maybe make a few calls, short email, like, hey, I'm doing this, doing that. Put a post up on the social media. Post some of your work up. Great. But instead of just going back home and being upset about your life, try and enjoy it. Like, people are slaving away 9 to 5. It's not easy. You know, people working their ass off every single day. I've got the day off. So,
have gratitude, write a gratitude journal about, you know, what you...
Just do something that try and makes you feel better. Have a coffee by the beach, go for a swim, or just do something that makes you, even play video games for an hour. Great, just do something that makes you happy instead of just like literally pondering in like, why aren't I working? Yeah. And I feel like I've done that recently, like, you know, doing things on my day off that's now fun. You know, going for a walk, exercising, tennis, whatever it may be, on my day off, you know, taking a moment of the day to do something that helps me.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot better.
I love that
You know,
point. I love that.
it's now when I'm quiet, I'm not upset about no work. I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, okay. So now I can like call up John and we can play tennis, and then we can let's I'll meet up with this person for coffee. Oh, I haven't seen this person in years. We've all tried to catch up. I'll hit them up and we'll go to coffee, and then we'll catch up. You know, and then it's like, wow, it's actually a great thing that I've reconnected with someone that I haven't seen for years. Oh, and then it's a great day. I didn't work. I didn't make a single dollar, but I had a great day.
So then it's a win-win. You enjoy when you're working, and then you
should
look forward to having your time off as well.
You should.
Yeah,
and that's how I do it. And that's what. Now it took me a long time to do that. It's not easy, you know. It's not like, you know, one day just came by. I'm like, I'm good now.
You got to work at it.
Yeah, it took me like the journey we spoke about. You know, through all the family things, moving out, then the COVID thing, just trying to work out what to do. You know, it's taken a long time.
Yeah.
But I think like the last few years, I've reached, even the last year, to be honest, probably the last year, just take the time out, enjoy the time off.
Yeah.
Enjoy those downtimes, if it's a day or two.
Make the
for
most
yourself.
Of it. Yeah. And you do have to work at that. And it's a trap I fall in a lot of the time, where I would be, you know, working, and then when I don't have things that are happening, I'm just thinking, I just can't, I need to push. When I finally get to this position or this point or this happens, then I can enjoy my life.
Yeah.
But the reality is, even if you achieve these things, it's not going to give you any more ability to enjoy life. Like the things we enjoy, we can do right now. And I think it's such a trap where if we have that mindset, we're just going to wait to go up to the next step, and you'll literally never be happy. So we've got to make the decision, like you're saying, how do I have fun right now? How do I enjoy myself with what's available to me, you know, at this moment?
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've been talking for about an hour, which is crazy.
That's
like
quick.
that's what I think it's. I'm always like, whenever
really
it's a good conversation, it goes so fast.
Yeah.
So I love everything you've said there. We finish every episode with 5 closing questions.
Sure.
So I'm going to hit you with those in a second. Before I go into that, where can our listeners go if they want to learn more about you?
Learn more about me.
Yeah, where can we send them if they want to learn about your work, find you on social media, whatever it is? If they want to follow you.
Look, just like Anthony Littlechild. If you just type in Google, you probably find my Instagram, Anthony Littlechild, or Facebook. You know, my website, Anthony Littlechild. I post my work up there. But you know, I get lots of messages on Instagram. I did a workshop recently at the Peninsula Film Festival, and that was great. You know, teaching people, you know, that don't know much about it, you know. And I love doing that kind of stuff. And I just got so many messages, and I reply to them all. You know, I love it. So yeah, like, you know, if you're watching this, you know, hit me up on Instagram, have a chat, you know, follow me.
Love that. Do it. And for everyone listening, we'll have the all the links will be in the show notes. So you know, make sure to go check them out. And as you just said, send Anthony a message.
Say hello.
Say hi to him.
Let's play some tennis.
Let's play tennis. Let's
go.
That's how we got to know each other. We messaged on social media. We made some mental health ads. We now play tennis. We do other things, whatever. So send him a message.
Yeah, send me a message.
Who knows where it will lead?
Exactly. Yeah, someone might win a set off me.
Yeah. Has anyone won a set off you yet?
Look, it's a fun fact. No one has ever beaten me at all.
So I think you're just picking opponents.
I don't know if John's listening. He's in the booth there. He hasn't won a set either. He got 6-4. He came close.
Wait, who got closer out of me and John?
Oh,
I can't remember.
No, John came closer.
John came closer.
Yeah.
Am I the second closest after that?
Yeah, you're the second.
Right.
So John's 6-4. He's the closest ever.
So I think what you're doing is you're picking friends that haven't played tennis in a long time to just...
But I've now inspired so many,
That's true.
John got a racket for Christmas.
Yeah, that's
great.
great.
And he had his old racket for years. Now John's getting a new racket and he's playing. Other thing is, like, I play with Shortcut, who's one of my main focus pullers in the film industry.
Yeah.
And we would only see each other on film sets. And sometimes it'd be like a year or 6 months because, you know, other ACs come along. But we were good friends.
Yeah.
And I only started recently making sure we hang out, whether it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday. We go play tennis. We'll play FIFA against each other. We're just yelling and screaming at the TV, having fun.
Yeah.
Then go out for lunch. And he's a work friend and he was a good friend of mine. But then we made sure every few weeks we make sure we hang out.
That's great. That's great.
You know, So, you know, the tennis and all that joke aside, we've now worked, but through tennis, essentially, we now catch up regularly. And we never did that before. And, you know, and he's one of the few that's been able to talk to me about his mental health as well. Like, today was tough, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And we speak about it. So it's like, you know.
That's great.
Finding a activity, it doesn't have to be sport, it could be anything. You might like reading go sit with a friend in the park and read a book and talk about what you read, whatever it could be.
Yeah.
I think finding a common interest with friends helps break the barrier, and then talking about anything, and it will come naturally. You don't have to meet up with a friend, that does something that you like to make sure you talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Just do it because it's actually good for you. And, and sometimes, you will end up learning things about them, and then you get to talk to them as well naturally.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And like you're saying, we talked a couple of times about what you labelled this positive or negative domino effect, and the tennis had that. You playing tennis, got me excited. I hadn't played for 15 years, but you've got this friend group now that are all wanting to play more tennis just because you went out there and did it.
I was like, I want to do it.
It's this positive effect, it's like, it's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, these final questions. The first one.
Do I win? What do I win? Is it A, B, C, D?
I'll have a think.
Yeah.
You can
win an ice cream. Or?
What you'll win is me beating you in a set of tennis.
Oh,
so it's like you actually lose. But,
okay, that's okay. I'm happy to lose. It's okay. I'll win by answering the questions.
You'll win the satisfaction of seeing the joy that it brings me to beat you in tennis.
That's fair. Okay,
that's
I'm happy for that.
Yeah, happy for that. All right. So the first one is, what do you think is currently the biggest burden on mental health in society?
I think the biggest burden is it's expensive to get help. Like to be completely honest.
Yeah.
There are you can get 4 sessions for free, and that's great. But I just feel like it's
still not accessible, is it?
Still enough.
I
can go to a doctor once a week, and if they're bulk billing, not pay a cent.
Yeah.
I can go to a doctor every week. I got a sore elbow, I got a headache, and I can go to this doctor that's bulk billing and literally pays almost $0 for like a long time.
Yeah.
The second it's about mental health, you've used up your 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
you go
totally
back?
agree.
Well, I can't afford it. Okay, so that's it. It stops.
And some people can't
and
even...
I'm not political. I don't know the reasons why, when it's funding or, because, it takes a lot of years to become a psychologist, and it's not easy, even on the person. So I understand, it's not cheap. But I just feel like, it's hard to... That's one big thing. It's like, I can't just like... After those 3 or 4 sessions you get, or 8, I'm not sure what the number is.
Yeah.
It's just, most people will just stop and not go back.
Yeah.
They're making a bit of progress and it just ends until the next rollover happens and they might not go back.
Yeah.
That's one of the factors for me. It's like, I'm going to go and really like it. And then I'm like, but then I want to pay, I want to go every week and talk to someone, and it gets very expensive.
It is really expensive.
And like the government, there is help, but I don't think it's enough.
It's not enough. It gets subsidised. But I think, and this is from, Australia's probably got one of the best healthcare systems in the world, yet even within that, and it's just not affordable.
Maybe I shouldn't complain because we're in Australia. I know people in America are like, you got it good.
No, but I don't think
you guys have got it really good in Australia with like your healthcare, your Medicare, all that kind of stuff.
It's scary, and I'm living over there, and it's terrifying.
Yeah,
but
I shouldn't complain.
Well, no, I don't think it's you complaining, because I agree with what you're saying. I think, we do. It's amazing that we can get bulk billing to see a doctor, and a lot of hospital sort of care is covered, but mental health, I believe, should eventually get to a point where we can access free mental health care in that level, because it is simply not affordable for so many people. Even if you have money, going once or twice a week,
it's a lot.
It adds up, and sometimes you might want to be doing it even twice a week, and it's just not enough. No. And, a lot of the time, people now, especially since COVID, will be having to wait for 6 to 7 months to see a psychiatrist or a psychologist even. It can be such a backlog. So I think it's a great point.
Yeah,
anyway.
Definitely.
Next one, what's your best childhood memory that comes to mind?
Oh, my best childhood memory. Oh, wow.
Or one of the best that comes up.
Oh, about anything in general. Like anything,
yeah.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Whatever comes to mind for you.
Best childhood memory. Oh, wow. There's a few, actually.
There's a few.
One day my grandpa taught me how to kick a soccer ball.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know. He was just like, like I was just like a 4-year-old kid, 5-year-old kid playing soccer with my grandpa. And, I was just trying to kick it like an idiot. He's like, if you run and then run up to and kick it, it'll go so much better. And we had apple tree and lemon tree, typical Greek papul. Yeah. That was the goals. And I just remember him teaching me how to play soccer. Obviously, I've been playing soccer since 5 years old. I didn't make it pro, so obviously not that good. But been playing my whole life. I just remember him teaching me, my papul, how to kick a ball with more power. I remember that. Another childhood memory I love is cooking with my grandma, my yaya. Like in the kitchen with her most days. Even as a kid, she would live like 5 minutes walk from my childhood home.
Yep.
So like after school, before school, or wherever it was during the day, I would always be there with her cooking. I think she
Yep.
taught me a lot of my cooking that I know today, whether it's Greek or even like non-Greek food. Because I remember cooking,
Love that.
the smells
Yeah.
of walking through her house, the food and the cooking. That's probably up there, I reckon. Just
I love
those moments, and you got them forever. Like, yeah, I'm upset that she's no longer here, you know, but like that's is there forever. You know, and
100%.
even at home cooking the other day, I did something different, and I'm like, oh my god, like that. I just took me back
Yeah.
to those moments. So I think
100%.
cooking with your eyes up there.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, those things really do make an impact. And like my uncle and auntie were like the two closest people in the world to me, and they both passed away during COVID. And my uncle like would, as a kid, when I wanted to play sport, come and train with me 3 nights a week. When I wanted to get into acting, because he used to do acting, he would, you know, be the one person that would just encourage me to do everything. You'd be there at practice with me, whatever. And now that he's gone, it's like this lasting impact where I think it's so important to have these people in our lives because, like you're saying, it's so sad. You know, everyone is going to pass away at some point, but even when they're gone, they're still part of you. And they've made this imprint where that drives you forever. And it's such an incredible, I think if anyone even has one person like that in their lifetime, it makes a gigantic difference. So yeah,
exactly.
I think it's a good point.
Very random childhood memories. I'm sure I'll do the negative thoughts. You know, like I bet you we're going to leave here, and I'll think of something amazing. Like you know, like oh, me, and my mum and dad.
You think of a better one.
Mum and dad and I did this, and it probably is a more of a cliche childhood memory. I'll think of it later, but
I think the ones you did are
they're
perfect.
very random.
I think they're perfect ones for, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. There's no right or wrong.
No.
But what is your personal definition of happiness?
If you feel like you've lost control of your health physically or mentally, Move Your Mind is here to help you. We guide you through weight loss, lifestyle change, and resetting your mindset without any extremes or overwhelm. If this resonates and you want to learn more, simply go to my Instagram at Nick Brax and click the link on the bio to fill out an application, and I'll send you over more information about the program. Thank you for supporting the podcast. If you find this show helpful, please share it with a friend and follow me on Instagram. It really helps.
Personal definition of happiness. I think, you know, it could be taking care of yourself. I don't know. As I said, like I'm probably the happiest I've been in my whole life now.
That's great.
Doing what I love, looking after myself. You know, even looking at. I also enjoy. I don't know. Like things have changed recently. I think helping people as well, looking after myself, but also helping people a lot. You know, if I can help, I will. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's it's a hard one, but I think if you look after yourself. As we said before, and like we've gone on a lot about it in this in this chat, but happiness is accepting and just looking after yourself.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
I don't know how to elaborate on that really.
No, I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect. Looking after yourself, I love what
doesn't matter again. Like if I earned like $1 million a year, but I was in that tense family situation a few years ago, I wouldn't be happy.
You'd still be unhappy.
You know, and it's just like I was shooting the biggest job of my life, I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
Because things are just tough. But like if you can just look after yourself.
Yeah.
Which is hard because every situation is different. But if you can just look after yourself, give yourself a bit of time, I think that's true happiness.
Yeah.
You know, just to kind of moments I would just sit on the pier. You know, I need some sushi, and I was like, I'm happy.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, as random as that
Simple.
sounds,
Yeah.
just take a moment out and just do something you love.
Just enjoy the
happiness.
simplicity in life.
I think so.
And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where you might be the most famous entertainer in the world, yet you're completely depressed and unhappy because they've got all this turmoil that they haven't been able to deal with. So it is really just acknowledging. And
I think so.
And I think it's a good, I like that you're saying, you're happier than ever and things are getting better. And I think that's important because the more we work on ourselves, learn about ourselves, life should actually get better as time goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
We learn how to improve it.
Yeah.
So yeah, good one. So we've got 2 more here.
2 more.
So second last one, what are you most afraid of?
Okay, yeah. The one I'm most afraid of, it's a really strange one. It's about dying. I think I've told you.
I share that with you.
I think I told you this before, and it's a bit morbid, but like, sometimes it pops in my head once a day. Sometimes it could be like 2 weeks go by, and I've thought of it every day. Yeah. But then other times it could be like I haven't thought about it for a week or 2. But if it's a strange, weird phobia, it's like everything just finishes. And it's just like it's a strange. I can see in your face, like you're the same as me.
So I had a moment last night.
It's so silly, but it's also like
it's a weird thing. But and some people seem to be at peace with it. If I think about it properly, like you're saying there, the finality, my mind can't actually accept that
Yeah.
there has to be something more.
I know.
And it's so bad, but I was alone last night, and I can't remember why I started thinking about it, and the first thing I'll scream is "mum" when I get scared. So I was like, "Mum, mum, mum."
Wait, last night?
Last night I
What?
thought about dying.
How old are you? You're 31-year-old man?
36-year-old man.
36, mum,
screaming for my mum.
Oh, no, should have. And your mum.
And I'm actually back visiting at the moment, staying in the family home.
no.
So then after I yelled it, I was like, I think they're far away enough that she didn't hear, but it'd probably be a bit confusing for her, just me screaming out. But that's like, when I think about it enough, that's what I heard. It's just, it's terrifying.
Wow, but it's a bizarre thing to be phobic about, because some people are at peace with it and some people aren't. There's people in the middle.
Yeah.
But something I think about sometimes, often, sometimes not. It just depends on your frame of mind and if you're busy or not.
Exactly.
But just that the fact of just like, that's it, it's all finished. And, but then the thing is that the more you think about it, the worse it is.
And the less
you got to try and keep busy,
distracts
and
you from living
keep
your life.
active, keep busy. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
make the most out of things.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's an interesting one, but I think I'm not alone in that one, to be honest.
No, I think it's probably the biggest fear of, most people.
Yeah.
Or it'd be up there at least.
Yeah, exactly.
What do they say? Public speaking and dying. But I think dying a bit worse.
Well, hopefully not both at the same time. That'd be horrible.
No, that wouldn't be good. Hopefully that's never happened.
No, touch wood.
Touch wood. So final one, on a more positive note, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of? What am I most proud of? I guess you can go two ways. One is obviously where I'm at with my career. I think, it's an interesting place because I know I'm going to keep doing better, and I'm 33, I'm not young, but I'm not old. But I just feel like in our industry, like there's still so much more to do.
Oh yeah.
I want to win awards and do shoot a feature that will do this, that. So I'm still young in this industry, but I also am still appreciative and proud of what I've done. The actor nomination, the couple ACS awards. So that's something I'm proud of. And I'm just proud of in that regard. I think is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm also it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
And what was the question? What am I most proud of?
What are you most proud of? Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's it'll go. Yeah, as I said, it'll go two ways. Obviously, that part, the career, I'm happy with where I'm at.
Yeah.
I guess awards don't mean anything, but I know, you grow as a person, and I'm happy with where I'm at. With what I'm shooting and what I'm making, connections I'm making.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one part.
Yeah.
Proud of that. The other part I'm proud of is, I guess, I don't know. It's a tricky one. That's tough.
Well, it's always hard answering for yourself, but I think I think you've already told me.
What are you most proud of? Can I swing it to you? What are you most proud of?
It's a tough one to answer about yourself,
because you've done so much, and you've helped so many people. All the seminars, you've told me stories where you've gone to a seminar and spoken, and someone that was going to take their own life a couple of days later now isn't because of your talk. That must make you feel incredible. To help people like that.
But it's a funny thing where it's because, like, even me interviewing you for an hour, I could rattle off 10 different things for you to be proud of.
How bizarre!
But it's
I
so hard
when
it's about yourself, isn't it?
No, I can't think of anything really.
Whereas I could think of so many things. You're talking about your stuff with your family, helping out, being there for your mum and dad, the work you've done on yourself, being there for your friends, obviously what you've achieved in the career and doing it from such a young age and still being in that career and growing in it. And
the career was a throwaway. I know there's
endless ones. There's so many. But
I think we just always tend to be like, oh yeah, I'm happy with work. But I'm probably proud of a lot of my other things. I guess the family is a big one. Yeah. I'm very close with my family. I'm an only child. My dad's family's overseas, and it's just kind of us three now, me, mum, and dad. Yeah. So I do pride. That's something I'm proud of, is keeping close to my family. Yeah. Not letting things get in the way. Through that hard part of my life. Yeah. It really things could have gotten a bit crazy there. Yeah. But we've all stuck together.
You've been able to work through it. Yeah. But it's so hard. Like for me, I find it hard to answer, but I'd probably say I'm proud that I, when I was very young, pretty much 20, made that decision that I wanted to help in mental health, and I've stuck to it. Yeah. And then proud of that, and proud of just having, being close with my family, having a close circle of friends. Probably that, and there's other stuff that I want to do more of, and I want the film career to go bigger, and things that I can beat myself up about. But the other things that really matter, I guess. But,
if we do another episode and I come back one day, I want to make more like, what I'm doing in my life is trying to write and direct more things about mental health, which we and you are both working on.
Yeah.
Trying to get things up and running. In the
We're
TV
going to talk
film.
about after this as well.
The film and TV world about
Yeah.
mental health in film, and it's like something that needs to be made more, shot more. It's hard. It's the commercials on TV are great. Speak to speak out, blah blah. But it's you don't really get time to kind of process it. But watching a film in the cinema, people love the movies and things on Netflix, and to see more about mental health, in any kind of genre or style, more about mental health, people will take that away more.
Absolutely.
So that's like, if you ask me this question again in a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever it may be, I'm hoping I can answer and say, what am I proud of? I'm proud about taking my job, my career, my art form, and my contacts, networks, everything, and also then being able to push and help the mental health and put them both together.
I love that,
and that's something I want to be. I want to be proud of that. I tried it with you with like a few little small videos, but I want to make something bigger that engages more people.
Yeah,
and I feel like we will both do that.
And it's a goal we share, isn't it? And it's like, hopefully we can in 2 years' time be sitting here talking about some project we've created.
And also, I'm proud about where we are. I'm proud about being able to. So, you've got your public speaking.
Yeah.
I hope that we can both then be like, we've helped people through mental health in film.
Yeah.
I'd love someone to walk away from a film being like, that's helped me. I've walked out of that cinema feeling differently. They might talk to us. They might talk to someone else.
Yeah.
They might go and get help for themselves. And hopefully we can make films and TV shows both one day where that happens.
100%.
So that's something I want to be proud of. So that's almost like I'm like a Chris Nolan Inception. I'm looking into the future or something.
Of what
Interstellar, or I'm trying to that's my future answer in a way.
Well, it's a good way to set that sort of that goal and work towards it. So I love that.
So I'm almost like, I'm proud that I'm going to now take that journey.
You're proud of, and
I'm
that's
proud
the thing.
that I'm
Be
going
proud of
to-
it now, that going on that journey, and then you're more likely to achieve it. So
Exactly, because after all the things I've been through personally and with my mum and just all that in
you
general,
can combine your entire life into this one.
grab that
thing
and take what I do for work, put them both together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the next step. And that's
I love it.
I'm proud that I will take that next step from now, and it'll help. I think it'll help my friends, my colleagues, and people I don't even know.
Yep.
So that's something I'm proud of. There you go.
I love it. Well, I think that's a good way to end. So I'm sure we could chat for another 2 hours.
Should we just hang on? It's 2:00.
What is it? Oh my! We're gone for well over an hour. Actually,
Let's just keep going. You know what? We'll wait for them to go get a drink, some popcorn, or have a little toilet break.
We'll just keep going,
And we'll just wait for you. When you come back, then we can speak for another hour.
I'm sure we could fill another few
We can talk
hours,
about
yeah.
tennis techniques and other things if you want as well.
Tennis techniques, soccer. We could do a bit of our random.
Nick will go through some fitness techniques because I just need to get a bit more
do
buff.
a bit of fitness.
Yeah, great. So
exactly.
Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Oh, well, mate, I'm so glad we got to do it. Thank you for making the time, and love this chat. This
It's
is
been
one
great.
Of one of my favorite episodes.
It's the longest
I've
we've
done,
sat down in front of each other and chatted. Like
it is.
Like we normally
it
just
is.
like 10 minutes of serious chat and then 45 minutes of absolute trash talk,
So
which is great for the mind though. Trash talk and joking. It is actually fun. I enjoy.
It's fun. It's a good outlet, isn't it?
It is.
But this is good. Maybe we need to schedule once every 6 months a podcast so we can just sit for an hour and talk properly.
Yeah, and whether people see it or not, different
Who
story.
cares?
But
At
we'll
least,
just sit down and do it.
Exactly. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you again. I appreciate it.
No worries. It's good to be here. Thank you so much.
And thank you for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode and any suggestions for topics you'd like to hear about. Feel free to leave a comment or just send a DM. Your feedback is always appreciated. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button, leave a like or comment, share with your friends, and follow me on Instagram. It really makes a difference. Thank you so much.